Scott Jennings illuminates his colleagues. He said Trump is Biden's legacy. And that's true, that he is Biden's legacy. Biden and Harris administration was so bad, was so terrible that the mainstream media threw everything at Donald Trump. They threw everything to make it where he wouldn't succeed, and he succeeded anyway because Biden Harris policies was so bad that people didn't care. The propaganda actually didn't work in their favor. So it's just pretty funny. So I think that's where Scott Jennings is going. I'm not sure. I haven't seen the clip yet, but we're gonna play the clip and look at it together and talk about it. But before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button. Share this out so we can get this information out there. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and hit that alarm bell so you know when I'm putting out new stuff. Also, check out my link tree in the description. Has a link to my Patreon. That's where I talk about things that I can't talk about here. There's also a link to my Instagram and my X account, so follow me there as well. All right, so let's get into this news. Now, this comes from Legal Insurrection, and they report that in the waning hours of President Joe Biden's presidency, CNN lone conservative voice Scott Jennings joined his colleagues in a spirited debate over Biden's legacy. Jennings argued that much of Biden's legacy, quote, is going to be bookended by the fact that he and former President Barack Obama gave us President elect Trump the first time, and that he gave us Trump 2.0 stronger than ever. In short, Trump is Biden's legacy. Elaborating on that point, um, Jennings said Donald Trump right now is at the apex of his power. He's more popular than ever. His ideology is more popular than ever. And I think it's in large part because people were comparing the results of Biden and Trump won. And I 1,000% agree. Let's just get to the clip here. Here we go. Um,
Donald Trump right now is at the apex of his power. He's more popular than ever. His ideology is more popular than ever. And I think it's in large part because people were comparing the results of Biden and Trump won and saying, we're going back to Trump, and this was a lot better than what we got under Joe Biden. So I think a lot of his
Facts.
legacy, frankly, is going to be bookended by the fact that he and Obama gave us Trump the first time, and then he gave us Trump 2.0, stronger than ever. Joe Biden made some promises that he was going to be an honest president. He wasn't. That he
Nope.
was going to be a moderate president. He wasn't. And that he
Nope.
was going to try to restore the soul of the nation. I don't think anybody believes that he did that. And on the way out the door, by the
Facts.
way, he's pardoning his son retroactively for anything and everything going back a number of years. That did not sit well with the American people. So when you consider the inflation, Afghanistan, border, the pardons, and really Joe Biden not living up to what he said he was going to be, I think it's going to be hard for him to make a comeback in the near term.
So yeah, I'm really proud actually of the work Joe
Hold on, hold
Biden
on.
did for our country.
Hold on. Hold on. I'm gonna get to that too. But everything Jennings said I 1,000% agree with. Right on par. It was so terrible. Biden was so horrible. We had no choice but to vote for Trump. Even I mean, I was gonna vote for Trump regardless. But people that were on the fence, if you took a honest analysis at what things were when Trump was in office in 2016 and how things are now, I mean, if anyone with any logical sense would vote for Donald Trump. I mean, that just is what it is. And then we got we got Biden, one of Biden's surrogates here. I want to talking a Democrat talking head here talking about Biden was so pretending like Biden was so great. So let me rewind it a little bit to hear him say it again because I can't believe he fixed his mouth to say this. Here we go.
So yeah, I'm really proud actually of the work Joe Biden did for our country.
He's proud of the work that Joe Biden did for our country. Are you serious? How can you with a straight face say that? How can you with a straight face say that? He's not being unless he's the well, maybe he is. I'll take it back. Maybe he is because he is one part of the 1%. He is part of the deep state, the bureaucracy, the elites or whatever you want to call them. So maybe he is being truthful here because if you were part of the elite, if you were part of the 1%, then you fared very well under Biden, but you are in the minority, sir.
I got to say,
Scott,
I'm on my way to a ball. I think Paul's already been out to one already. I'd like to get into whatever he's drinking and the description of the Joe Biden
Some of that good
presidency,
Kentucky
because
bourbon you
if
gave me,
every
Jennings.
if everything you said was true, he should have had no trouble getting reelected, and he should
Right,
not have a 34% approval rating. The
right.
truth is, on
Those
so
are all
many
facts.
issues, he failed, and not only did he fail, but he and his people were dishonest with the American people about it, telling us the border is secure when it's not, telling us that the Afghanistan pullout was a
These are
wonderful
facts.
accomplishment, and
He
most
said that.
damagingly last year, telling us that he was fit for office when clearly he was not, and the biggest cover-up in modern political history took place on his watch, and I guess at the direction of him and his top people. That is going to live with him for a very, very long time. Even Democrats now admit that Joe Biden was not with it, and they all went along with it too, and they have no one to blame but themselves. I do agree with what Paul said earlier. He should never have run for re-election, but the fact that he's now saying he could have won is delusional, and the fact that he's
Right.
saying Kamala Harris could have won is basically saying she ran a crap campaign. So he's left his own party in somewhat political chaos.
both very
Facts.
sharply dressed, so thank you.
Yeah, if this punditry doesn't work out, I'll be able to show you two to your table at the next dinner seating. So.
We look forward to that. All right, Scott Jennings, Paul
Scott
Begala, thanks to
Jennings,
both of
as
you.
always, was giving it to him. Oh, and the article says, as always. I swear I didn't read this article beforehand. It says, as always, Jennings nailed it. Beyond the often cited blunders of Biden's failed administration, his obvious senility, and the efforts to hide it, Biden will be remembered as a liar. From the moment he launched his campaign to the sad final hours of his presidency, Biden has been deceiving the American people. Lies slip from his lips as effortlessly as water off a duck's back. Yes, I understand that all politicians lie from time to time, or at least exaggerate, but Biden has elevated lying to an art form. During his April 2019 campaign launch, Biden told supporters he felt compelled to run after hearing Trump describe neo Nazis and white supremacists as very fine people following the 2017 Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville, Virginia. While Trump's remarks were taken wildly out of context, we all know that. We know what he really said. And even debunked by left leaning fact checkers, Biden continues to repeat this narrative to this day. 6 months later, he told another pivotal lie 3 weeks before the 2020 election, and the New York Post published a bombshell story about communications found on Hunter Biden's abandoned laptop, which strongly suggested that Joe Biden knew of and even potentially involvement in Hunter's overseas influence peddling operations. In response, Secretary of State Anthony Blinken, who was then a senior Biden campaign official, orchestrated a letter signed by 51 high ranking intelligence officials. The letter disingenuously claimed the story bore all the hallmarks of a Russian disinformation campaign. And I've done a report earlier today talking about how Trump is going to take this away the security clearance of every single one of those 51 former high-ranking intelligence officials, which I totally agree with. They're sitting there and they signed this letter, knowing that it was false, knowing that it was not Russian disinformation to try to sway an election, and then you think you're going to keep your security clearance? No. So I'm all for that. But this letter played a crucial role on Biden's victory only days after its release. Then candidate Joe Biden used it to shut down Donald Trump when the topic of the family's alleged overseas dealings came up during a critical debate. I remember that. He was like, no, it's not true. In fact, 51 former intelligence officials said it's not true. Now, as Biden laments his failed presidency, he is once again resorting to lies about the threat posed by the power wielded by a small group of big tech oligarchs. He remains silent about their influence when they suppressed the laptop story leading up to the 2020 election. But now, with these figures flocking to Mar-a-Lago to gain favor with Trump, he has grown bitter and resentful, right? He don't talk about the billionaires that are Democrats, the Democrat oligarchs. He didn't mention them. The George Soros, who he gave a medal to. He's not talking about those oligarchs. Well, books will inevitably be written about the mountain of lies and he and his allies told of he of lies he and his allies told the American people, all amplified by legacy media that abandoned any semblance of journalism the moment Trump entered the political arena in 2015. Some of us are old enough to remember the classic Looney Tunes character Wile E. Coyote, the Road Runner. In every episode, Wile E. Coyote has a new idea for how he will finally catch the road runner. But the bird is simply too fast and the coyote never succeeds. Most of the time, the plan backfires and leaves the coyote wounded and angry, but that doesn't stop him from trying again. Wiley Coyote has a lot in common with today's Democrat Party. That's facts. Because they're doubling down on their idiocracy. They refuse to reflect or do anything or try to change anything. They continue to blame everyone else but themselves. I mean, I just seen a video today of Schumer saying he's coming out and saying, "Oh, we didn't do a good job of messaging. That's why people don't believe. You know, we do all these things for you plebes. We do all these things for the people, but y'all just don't know it's happening. We did. It was a messaging job. Messaging job. That's why we lost. It's not because we really didn't do anything to help the American people. But will the Democrats ever succeed in bringing Trump down, or will they end up dumbfounded, resembling Wile E. Coyote as he once again slams into a wall, and his flattened body sticking there for a moment before sliding to the ground? I kind of like that analogy, the Wile E. Coyote analogy there. But it seems like they're continuing to double down on this stuff. I don't see the Democrat Party changing, and I think it's going to be the death of the Democrat Party because of it. But y'all, let me know what y'all think about this. Leave your comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe, and check out jjthepsychotherapist.com for the latest in news. Until next time, peace.